Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe, and this week we are watching Uzumaki from the Master Junji Ito.
Yo! Yeah, that was supposed to be a ooh, but it turns to be a ah. It's like more pain than anything.
An apt description.
We've done like a Junji Ito episode before, where we've read a few different pieces of his manga and stuff like that.
Yes.
But you've never actually read, we've watched Uzumaki now, but you never read it, did you?
No, I didn't. This was my first experience with it. And honestly, I didn't know what to think when I went in.
Yeah.
Because, it's like... It's for one, when you have some experience with Junji Ito, you're like, anything can happen. Like, literally anything, right?
Yeah.
And with this, I'm like, it's also strange because it's like, it's a Junji Ito piece turned into an anime, so it's like...
This is like even though like I've read Junji Ito manga, I think this might actually be my first experience watching a Junji Ito anime, so I was also unsure how it's going to translate. But I guess before we get into any further, Nathan, do you want to give a breakdown of what Uzumaki is?
Okie dokie. Uzumaki, a spiral into horror, I think is the English subtitle.
Oh, cool.
Created by Junji Ito, as previously mentioned, published in Shogakukan January 19th, 1998 to August 30th, 1999. Episodes 1 and 4 were animated by a studio called Fugaku, and episodes 2 and 3 were animated by a studio called Akatsuki.
Right, interesting.
Which, if you know anything, this makes it even more confusing because Uzumaki Naruto, Fugaku Uchiha, and the Akatsuki.
Jesus, okay. There's layers to that.
Anyway, this anime was released September 29th, 2024 to October 20th, 2024. As literally just previously stated, it's only 4 episodes long, about 20 minutes an episode, give or take. The population of Uzu even is slowly driven mad by their growing obsession with spiral shape, finding them everywhere with shocking and horrifying results. From IMDb.
Ooh. I mean, arguably with that description, it feels very like open-ended and ambiguous, but if it went into any more detail, it would have been like I don't think it would have had the same effect. That probably describes it perfectly for what you're about to experience, basically.
Yeah, honestly, like from what I watched, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I said before. With Junji Ito, anything can happen. And like Pepe said, if this said any more than that, spoilers, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
you'd have to get into the weeds of things, and
Yeah.
it's just spoilers then.
And arguably as well, like we're going to be discussing all 4 episodes today as well. So there will be spoilers ahead, just a quick flag on that.
Oh, yeah.
But Nathan, what did you think of Uzumaki?
Brother, I don't know how the man does it. I don't know how the man does it. Every time he creeped me out.
Yeah.
I don't, he's the master for a reason.
Yeah, did it.
But he did it again. And I don't know how he did it.
The thing is with Uzumaki as well, it isn't a jump scare kind of thing. It's not at all.
No, it isn't.
It really focuses on the just creepy aspects of it and the way everything is drawn out, the way everything is just really warped and like inhuman. It's fucking creepy as hell.
I'm kind of glad that I hadn't read the manga.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Only because as my first experience, just sitting there watching all 4 episodes back to back, I was just like, what the fuck? Because like, when it's not going to be as impactful, right? So like every time I was just sitting there like, the hell? What now? What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
Like, it was just constantly like, oh my God, what the And then there's also sometimes like, just things you don't expect. As in like very simple innocuous things, but it's like, oh shit, yeah, that is a spiral, isn't it? And that's a spiral, and then this, and then that, and that, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and you're like, oh my God, it's everywhere.
It's something that is so simplistic, but it has such like they in this series they make it have such spooky connotations, and
Mm,
it's like everything like about it just becomes, oh, it's everywhere, and something that is so simple being everywhere being turned against you is absolutely terrifying, and that's what I think really encapsulate this series. Really, it's just any like obviously it goes to some extremes in the fact that like
yeah.
the typhoons become a bit more like someone moves a little bit too quickly and a typhoon happens is mad. But like we can get those are the extremes of the series, but there's like certain things
Yeah.
like that get brought into it. You're like, oh, okay, geez, that's very creepy.
Well, it's funny because like now after seeing it,
Hmm.
I did watch a couple of other ththings afterwards,
Hmm.
and just like living my everyday life after that, I was like, oh, there's a spiral. There's a
Yeah.
they did it. Or like I was watching something else, and then they like a character was complaining about something else.
Hmm.
And I went, that's because he's doing a spiral. He's doing a fucking Uzumaki. It's there. It's there. Oh my God.
This guy straight into it. You'd never be able to look at it ever again. It's like
I mean, I never will anyway.
yeah. It's one of those ones where I don't know if you remember it, there was a you know the movie franchise Saw?
Yeah.
They released a spin-off or like a prequel called Spiral, and part of me was like, "Wait, is this related in any sense?" Because it's obviously it's horror as well. Imagine if it was like intertwined slightly, like Junji Ito had something to do with the Saw franchise. That'd be absolutely fucking wild.
See, at least your mind went for like a collaboration.
Yeah.
My mind just immediately went to, could you imagine they just did like a live action version of Uzumaki, but it's just the fucking puppet from Saw in random scenes, and they're like, oh, it's a Saw prequel.
It'd be so like unjustified. Like, why is that a thing? It'd be so unneeded. Oh man. I'll tell you what is really well done in the anime, I think, is the pacing of it. Because in the manga, like, so, you know, like in the anime, each scenario is like, oh, it follows like this one thing that this character. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's that kid that like got, that used to jump out at people. It's like, oh, why is he doing that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then he got involved in a car crash, and then he basically was a
Ugh.
corpse and then just died. That is like a weird recurring thing between, I think, episodes 2 and 3, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like it might be a little bit of 4, I can't remember. But in the manga, everything to do with that character is just in one chapter.
Okay.
So each scenario, like the snail people, that's one chapter. The hair thing, where it's all in the spirals, that's one chapter. None of it is intertwined, but in the anime, it's all of those different chapters are intertwined with each other. So it feels a lot more well paced rather than a stop and start thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
It works so much better in this way, like the 4 episodes, like quick little bursts
Mm.
of like, oh, what's this here? And then they come back to it later in like either another episode or later on in that episode. So like going from the manga to the anime, I was like, oh, that's a quite cool way of doing it, and it makes sense the way they done it like that.
Interesting. I mean, I never read the manga, so I don't know
Mhm.
why I would have thought about that, but like, huh, okay.
Mm.
Interesting, interesting. That's good to know, because like I also thought it was pretty like seamless.
Hmm.
But I assume that's how it was in the manga, you know, like obviously it's an adaptation, so I know there will be some changes here and there,
Yeah.
but mostly I assumed it just followed the manga. Like,
I think it is mostly the same. Like in terms of story, apart from the intertwining thing, it is all mostly the same, except the kid that the spring kid, you know, the one that jumps out of people.
yeah.
He didn't turn up at that point. Like he just had his own little chapter. And,
Oh, okay.
that was a lot earlier on in the series as well. So
Oh,
it did feel a bit random where that guy's like covered in those like kind of like it's like warts that turn into spirals, and he becomes like that weird monster. You know, remember?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he like tries to attack Kyrie, and then suddenly gets hit by a pole or whatever, and then suddenly this spring guy comes out of nowhere and is like, ah. Like that that felt a bit it's like, oh, there's a monster. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, it's a corpse. And then that felt a bit like, oh, okay, they've really like needed, I feel like they need to put that in somewhere, and it was like, oh, let's just chuck it there, like two things going off at the same time.
I will say that kid, the jump scare kid,
Yeah.
doing that was so stupid. but also modern anime
Yeah.
has ruined me
Oh yeah.
because I watched it and went, "Ooh, that was really dumb," but I also went, "Stupid kid, that's not a truck. That's not how you get isekai, you fucking idiot."
Oh god, no! I don't want to watch that isekai.
That's what I mean with the internet and modern anime has just completely ruined me. That should have been a very serious thing that I just left at. Stupid kid, why did you do that? But instead I was like, "It's not a truck, dummy."
Fucking hell. Yeah, but cool. Yeah. If it's a car, it just hits different. Not like that, but I mean in some
Oof.
ways, I guess. Has to be a truck. If it's a car, yeah, you just get that's it, you're dead.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the trope, isn't it? Like, it's got to be a truck if you want to get isekai.
Mm,
Anyway,
yeah.
in your opinion, right?
Hmm.
What was the creepiest thing?
Oh, I still think that, like, again, I kind of am a little bit biased in some ways because I've read the manga and seeing those things on pages.
Yeah,
And it's always a double page spread as well. So you'd be like seeing like what's his face's reaction? Was it Shuichi?
yeah,
Like, for example, you see him on one page, at the end of the page saying, like, what's this? And then you'll flick over, then it's a double page spread. It's just there, like, oh shit. So, like, for me, I am a little bit biased, but I still think it is in episode 1 and also in chapter 1 of the manga
hmm
where you see Shuichi's dad cramming himself into
Oh, yeah.
the belt, and it's that contortion there.
Yep.
And it's also the face, like with the tongue and all that kind of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
that is freaking creepy as hell. That is like, for me, like it's up there with it. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
What about you? Is it like, is there anything?
For me, there's like, I think I'm like between two moments.
Mhm.
It's his mom in the hospital after his dad is cremated
Okay, yeah.
because like everything she does is just
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Sends shivers down my spine. Like where
Yeah.
she's basically like disfiguring herself because she's like, there's spirals everywhere
Yeah.
on my body.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. It's like it's that bit where she's like peeling off her fingertips and stuff like that. It's like, ugh.
Oh mate, it's not even peeling off. Like in the anime, she literally just cuts them off with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Of which one later part, I don't want to talk about it too much because it just the thought of it.
No. I'm curious of what it is. You go.
I'll gesture to
Ah,
Pepe. And
okay,
he,
yeah. I know exactly what.
don't idiots when she's known to use scissors to disfigure herself. Don't leave sharp objects in the room, idiot.
Where the hell did she? Why were those left there? It's so true.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's so stupid.
It's bad.
And like, I was watching this with a group of people, and
Yeah.
we all said the same thing at the same time. We were like, "Why the fuck were there scissors there? Are you stupid? My god,
Yeah.
negligence, brother."
That hospital was just like, I just would not want to be in that hospital. Another thing about the creepy thing of what you said, like one other bit, I think actually was more creepy in this than it was in the manga.
hmm
Was the mosquito women?
Thank you, because that's actually the thing I'm like tossing up. Is it
Yeah.
Shuichi's mom or is it the mosquito pregnant
Yeah.
woman? Because like that was also like what?
I mean, there was so many layers to that one scenario as well, because it was, one, the women were draining blood from other patients.
Yep.
Which was like, oh god, and then they had that crazed look in their eyes when they were doing it. It's like, okay, that's creepy.
Yep.
And then it went to the babies, the talking babies, which is like insane.
Oh yeah, because that's the like mushrooms, isn't it? Like the
And then it's the placenta mushrooms, and then it's the babies being put back in their mother's bodies. Like the layers to that one strand is just like, fucking hell. I forgot about that going into this anime. I was like, oh yeah, where does this one go again? I was like, oh damn, okay. Now I remember where this goes now.
like it's so crazy though, because you know when you're like, it starts off kind of like slow and it ramps up,
Yeah.
but once it like you're off the deep end
Yeah.
after that, like once it starts snowballing, you're so screwed because it just gets worse and worse.
I think that describes this whole series, really, doesn't it? It just starts off with one guy's dad just being obsessed with the spiral, and
Yeah.
then he gets cremated, and then it all just goes from there. It all just like ends up like ramping up, like
Oh, bro, his face and the tongue in the ash cloud.
yeah.
That also was like, oh, I don't like that.
It's just his face just appears up everywhere. It's even like in was it Kyrie's dad's pottery.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, oh, because he starts getting the clay from Dragonfly Pond, I think it was, or Pond, or like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Dragonfly Pond, yeah.
Yeah, so he starts getting the clay from that and obviously making ceramics from it. And then suddenly Shuichi's dad's face is in the fucking pottery. And it's like, oh no, Jesus. And they're eating off the plates. And then like, Shuichi's like, ah. Oh, man.
Ah, bro, and then I wasn't expecting the snail people.
Snail people thing is like for me the most bizarre thing. I mean, this whole series is bizarre. It's just like it's what made me like very uncomfy. The whole snail people thing.
Well, like there's a lot of like the weird disfigurement stuff that like creeps me out because it's like it's that, and then it's the person who like gets the weird like spikes come out of them,
Yes, yeah,
and then also like Kyrie's friend who has the scar that turns into the spiral, which
Oh.
I think is probably one of the most recognizable things. Like
Yeah.
you see that because you know it's like where part of her head is already a
Yeah.
big old spiral, and you just see the eyeball like hanging there.
Yeah, it's an iconic Junjito like moment that's what like a lot of people think. Yeah,
I think lots of people have seen that, yeah.
yeah,
But like it's a lot of stuff like that where you're just like, oh man.
yeah,
Like, you know, the two kids that are trying to run away
yes,
and then they end up like intertwining into each other.
yeah, yeah.
You're just kind of like, what is going on? It's crazy.
It's like like you could not predict anything in this series. If you're like watching this or reading this for the first time,
No.
you wouldn't be able to. That's gonna happen because you wouldn't even think of it. You wouldn't even think, oh yeah, that's what's going to.
No, you literally wouldn't. It's like the one thing that really got me is the sometimes, like I said, the simple things. Like there was the thing with the lighthouse,
Yes.
and you're like, okay, it's just a lighthouse. But then as soon as her brother ran in, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
lighthouses always have spiral
Spiral
staircases.
yeah.
And I was like, there's a spiral.
Yeah.
And then she gets up there, and then it's like, oh yeah, the lens of the light in a lighthouse is like made of concentric circles.
Yeah. So it's.
And then it like both combined into like, and I was like, Jesus, how does this man come up with this stuff?
Like it's one of those things. I reckon like you had to think of what Junjito's like thought process was when coming up with this manga, because I feel like he just sat down at one point and was like, I'm gonna make like he probably had a concept in mind. Like, I want to make this series where like everything is around like something that is so easily around you, and just make it the most terrifying thing possible. And then he was like, what can I do? What things have spirals? Snails have spirals, spiral staircases. And then he was like, I can make every single one of these things into something absolutely terrifying. And that's how he just went through it. He was like, yep, cool, go do this.
I wouldn't be surprised because, like, again, it's just, oh, mate, he just fuck knows how he does
Yeah.
it. It's just constantly like every time something happens, you're just like, what? What? That's like when that whole like safe house
Yes.
is packed, and they're like, you know, they go back and they're like, let us in, and they're like, no, go away, we ain't got no more space.
Yeah.
And like all you see is a bunch of faces, and you're like, wow, that is packed. And then like they try and open the door, and then you realize, oh, everybody is like woven into each other and become like a giant mass, and you're like, what?
And then you just see them like kind of like just build this like area around them and stuff like that. This is how they like the city
Yeah.
becomes a spiral, because all the people just end up like just building these what is it called? Was it called like it was called something? I can't remember what it was. It's a something house.
They're called like roadhouses or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Or something like that, like old, you know, the old style like Japanese like wooden house.
Yeah.
I guess it's like an old Japanese like storehouse or
Yeah.
warehouse or something. I'm not entirely sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say I did not like that explanation of like, oh, this is why it all happened.
Okay, yeah, this is one thing that I've always had a problem with Uzumaki, right? Is that I think it is a very, very good series, but the ending for me has always been slightly disappointing to me.
Right?
It's I remember reading the manga, I was like, and I tell you what, the anime does explain it a lot better, I think.
Okay.
Because in the manga, it's like, oh, let's go down this, go down into this pit where Dragonfly Pond used to be, and then it's like, oh shit, there used to be this. It's basically like a temple dedicated to spiral, or like a shrine or some sort of spiral related thing, which is basically a curse on the town area. And basically what happens is they build this, basically the whole city becomes obsessed with spirals, becomes a spiral city, and then it gets the curse ends basically, and then it just starts all over again, arguably like a spiral. I don't think they go into that much detail in the manga with it. I remember them saying bits and pieces, but I don't remember them going into that much detail about it. Like the thing ends, and what I did like as well, there was I don't even remember the last scene of the episode, or episode 4, where it got basically 2 newer main characters that show up.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen at all in the manga.
Okay.
So like they like obviously like it's these 2 characters. You're like, oh, like where it's basically a duplicate of that first scene in episode 1. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, do you want to get out of here? I think like this town is like there's something up with this town, and obviously it's a recurring thing. It's like, oh yeah, this city is just bound to go back in and become this spiral obsessed town again.
I don't know what I would prefer then. Like the ambiguousness of the manga or what we got in the anime. Either way, I'm still not entirely enthused about the end.
Yeah. I personally actually prefer the anime ending. I think it explains things a lot clearer. But again, like you said, I'm not exactly like, oh, this is the best ending. I think the thing is with Uzumaki is that as a whole, it is a really good series. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And all of the creepiness, the characters, the designs are so cool. But the ending is just like, oh, okay. And it's a very bleak ending as well. This isn't a like, oh, they beat the person, like, oh, but there might be more. No, there's no good ending in this.
To be fair though, when we did the previous Junji Ito works, there was never a good ending.
No, you are. That is very true. I don't think there's ever been a positive ending out of it.
Like the one that always comes to mind, and the one that other people always bring up is Amigara Faults. The one with the holes in the wall, and it's like that also just ends with like the character we've been following just like crammed himself in one of those holes.
Yeah.
Disfigured on the other side. And like even I can't remember what it was called, the one I read about the mansion that just for some reason people always starve and die in there.
Yes, I remember you telling me, yeah.
Again, main character just starved and died. Like went nuts and died. Like,
yeah,
I don't think there's ever a good ending ever.
I guess like in a horror film. I mean, arguably in a horror film, sometimes the villain perishes, but arguably it's a horror film. You don't want to end it to be like, oh, okay, that's it, all good.
Yeah.
No, there's always like, oh shit, no, something bad is still lurking somewhere, and that's arguably how this ended. Like, even though the curse of the spiral ended, and it's like, oh well, it's gonna happen again, and then it just like for a fact the whole series is just gonna start all over again with these 2 newer characters, and it's like, okay, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you as well, because this is a topic of discussion I've been seeing on the internet. I'm pretty sure you must have as well. Is the animation in Uzumaki.
Yeah.
So obviously this has been delayed for like about a year, because I remember this got announced at a Comic-Con ages and ages ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's coming September 2023 or something like that. But then it basically got pushed back a whole year because they like, oh, we need more time to work on it. And episode 1, I thought like no problems with animation at all whatsoever. And again, this is a discussion. This is like a whole top discussion I wanted to have as well, because like the internet has taken that one scene of the, we were talking about earlier, where that couple basically want to run a raid together, but their parents won't allow it.
Oh yeah.
And there's
the beach. Yeah, everything to do with the beach is even the lighthouse. If they were walking around on the beach, I did find that looked. I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
but it needs to be said, and it's nothing against the animators or anything.
No, yeah.
But it looked like someone's like first Flash animation.
Yeah, this is the thing that I've been seeing a lot recently, is that people taking scenes with anime out of context and then putting them online
Yeah.
where it is the lower quality animation, I'd say.
Yeah.
In a whole series, bear in mind, a 4 episode series, which honestly I watched episode 2 and I didn't even notice that, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't notice that
Okay.
thing. And then when you watch it back in isolation, yeah, it does look no, it doesn't look great. I'll go admit, yeah, it doesn't look yeah, but like
I did notice it in my viewing, but it might also just be because I sometimes sit and notice those little details
yeah.
as a, as an amateur of everything.
Mm.
Like, I know what amateur looks like,
Mhm.
or like amateur quality looks
Yeah.
like, because that's me. It's interesting because those are the only moments, I will say though, like
Mhm.
on the beach when she's going towards the lighthouse
Yeah.
with that other couple that are trying to run away.
Mhm.
Those are the roughest parts. Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
What I was heard and were told is that even though they delayed it a year,
Mhm.
the animators were still rushed.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
So like they were given a like unrealistic deadline still again.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's interesting to think because I forgot it was delayed,
Yeah.
but it's also the fact that two studios were drafted in to do this.
Mhm.
They both took 2 episodes each.
Mhm.
So when it's just kind of like, then how did you give them unrealistic timelines or whatever? You know what I mean? Like,
Part of me thinks like what actually went on behind the scenes there, because I feel like it's very unusual for two studios to take on an anime as well. Yeah,
yeah.
and like for them to take on like what was it? It was
Well, I mean, at least for 4 episodes as well. Like, there are bigger series that will use like a couple studios to like get the work done.
mhm.
But that's when you're talking about like a series that's like a season one, like 12 plus episodes, right? Let's say.
Yeah.
This is 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I know it's different because 4 episodes of like Junji Ito's work, very detailed.
Yes.
So like you will need more time, more manpower, but like still.
I'm curious, did they split it between two studios because it was such a tight deadline and they like, we just need more people to work on this or whatever, so like another studio came in and helped? I don't know whether like
Well, like that's also another point to bring up again is that like the split is Fugaku Studio did episode 1 and 4
mm,
and Akatsuki did 2 and 3. So it's not even like, oh yeah, Fugaku did episodes 1 and 2 and then like we needed the extra
Yeah.
help, so we got another studio in for 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like this seems like a very intentional split.
in my opinion, I think episodes 1 and 4 are your key episodes, really, because episode 1 is, you can see what they've done with it. There's a reason why they include, I think it was Azami, the character with the spiral forehead.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they include that in episode 1, because I don't think that even happens until maybe halfway, like about a third into the series. In the manga,
Okay.
I think they moved it earlier because it's such an iconic moment.
That makes sense.
And I think they really wanted to like go hard in episode 1 and episode 4. You've got to end it in a great way, because arguably 2 and 3, yeah, they'll be your next couple episodes, but 1 and 4 are your main ones. Arguably, I'd say the ones that you want to start on and the ones you want to end on, and like make a big like splash at first and like go out with a bang. And arguably that like everyone loved episode 1 of Uzumaki because it was just so like that stylized, and I think that's where it came from. But I don't know. I feel it's intentional. I do agree. I think it is an intentional thing to do 1 and 4 and then 2 and 3.
But now it brings up the question like it's just, I don't know, I feel like it's just strange, like management, quote unquote, decisions, right? Like,
Yeah.
I get what you mean, and it's valid. Like, it's the most reasonable thought that split is because, again, you want to put your best foot forward for a strong start and a strong finish. But like, I don't know, like it's what a strange distribution of budget to be like, right, we're gonna spend loads of money on episode 1 and 4. The middle part is like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so we'll just hire another studio that's maybe not as expensive or whatever. Like, I don't know. This is all speculation. This is all just my thoughts. But yeah, like, it's just, I don't, like, it's just weird.
Yeah. It is. It is like I honestly can't, like, I don't know what went on behind the scenes there. Like I would like to know specifically why it was delayed that long as well.
Yeah.
Like what was the thing that caused it to be that setback? I mean, arguably, yeah, like I think the animation does look good in it, and I think it is very stylized. Maybe there was like more to it than that. Like I'm seeing at the moment. But like, I don't know. Regardless, though, the 4 episodes I saw, I liked them. I thought it's a solid adaptation. I think it's how do I explain it? It feels justified, I guess. Like, or it's like it's oh god. What's the word where it's loyal, a loyal adaptation.
Oh yeah.
That's what I want to say. Like, it's loyal. It does what it needs to do right, and it does follow all the key like moments of the manga. So, like, as an adaptation, I think it's a very solid. Like, yeah, it's a good one. I would say.
Yeah, again, it was just when they moved on the beach, I found, personally.
Yeah.
Every other time I was like, there's actually nothing wrong with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe partially it's probably because the beach also is like, it's hard because, you know, like Junji Ito's style is very strong because you've got all that shading and all that like extra details, but like on the beach scenes where it's like well lit,
Yeah.
and in reality, you would only sort of have ground shadows if
Yeah.
you think about it, because it's like, you know, like the sun's beating down. Like in that instance, yeah, okay, it probably suffered because it was all just kind of like white on white with
Yeah.
thick black outlines.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do with it. And arguably, I think one of the reasons why I feel some of the like mad, like, I'm not gonna say like it's criticism or hate, whichever way you want to go for it. A lot of the criticisms for it, I feel some of it. I don't know whether it's because of I've come from seeing episodes of anime where I was like, Jesus Christ, that looks off or bad. Like, so, like, because both me and you, we come from an era of 2015 when Toei did Dragon Ball Super, and they had Goku and the Goku Beerus fight
Yeah.
in episode 3 was just like it. I remember we come from that era, and for me, that is the bar of like, oh, that's bad. I think seeing stuff like arguably that scene from the beach, like, again, I didn't notice it at all until someone isolated it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that now. Like, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as stuff we've seen before.
Yeah, it's not the worst I've seen.
Arguably, yeah, you could be like, yeah, but they delayed it a year, or like they put so much, but it's so overhyped, like hypes, and this is what we come up with. Yeah, I could understand, yeah, that it does look bad in that sense. But then I think this is like a general criticism of the anime community as a whole, because like obviously you're seeing a lot of Blue Lock stuff coming through as well,
Yeah.
where people are isolating scenes like, oh, like, and because it's become a meme at this point that like there's this anime which which should be so much worse, but it's better than Blue Lock season 2 and all this kind of stuff, and that's because they've taken scenes out of context with it. And arguably, I'm going to say this as well because I think it's only because I've seen it about Uzumaki and Blue Lock, is that a lot of people like are taking the scenes out of context, and again, I'm not justifying it. Yeah, it does look like a slideshow, but as a series as a whole, Blue Lock season 2, I think is actually pretty sick right now. That's a whole other discussion there, but that's what I wanted to kind of relate into. It's like some of these series are being taken out, some of these scenes are being taken out of context, and I think it makes it look worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a shame if that goes viral. I kind of feel bad on like the studio and the animators which have put work into this, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, we've done this, and then
Well, I mean, that's always the problem, innit? Like,
yeah,
is the fucking end user, the fan, will pick up this shit and then start shitting on it.
yeah,
But then, like, even if you go and post the actual article that's like, oh yeah, they're underpaid and overworked, they'd still be like, yeah, but shit.
damage is done. Yeah, that's it.
Like, it's like, bro, what you talking about though? Like, there's like a larger issue, but they're still like, yeah, but shit though, innit? So
Yeah.
like, it's their problem. And like, no, I feel like you're becoming part of the problem, shitty fan.
Yeah, it's like it's completely fair to have criticisms, and they are justified sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think when people go out their way and be like, "Oh yeah, this is like a this is a shit series because of this," it's like, nah, like actually watch the shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't shit on the series until you've actually seen the whole thing. You know what I mean?
I think basically what we're saying is blame the right people,
Yeah.
not the wrong people. It's not the animators and it's not
Yeah.
the studios. It's the ones that fucking are supposed to be writing the correct checks and keeping a track of
True
this
that,
shit
yeah.
because that's their job and they fucked it up. That's the people you should be
Yeah.
blaming. The ones that should be held accountable because they fucked up.
Yeah. It is like, honestly, like I'm just one of those people that is that like watch shit and make your own judgments from it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That we've always like been, yeah.
Yeah, that's always been our message, to just go out and make your own opinion.
Yeah.
But like, the overall package of Uzumaki is really good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's really, really good. Again, small minor faults, But otherwise, like,
But like, yeah,
I actually translated really well, surprisingly.
yeah, I think it was a hard undertaking to do that kind of thing. You always think, how did I? And they've done it well with the pacing. I think the animation's great. Like, it looks really stylized, looks really cool, conveys the eeriness and unsettling design of Junji Ito's work. So, like, it's faithful. That's what I was looking for earlier. Faithful. It's a faithful adaptation and does it well.
Yeah.
All in all, I've like really enjoyed it. I'd like if there are like certain things like, oh, they need to go back and maybe re-edit some of it and release it on a Blu-ray or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, sure. It's one of those things. I would own a physical copy of this. I collect all animes and stuff like that, and I'd get this in a physical copy.
I mean, if I were someone to collect physical media like that, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would also, because it's good. Again, the biggest concern was that in the translation from still image to moving picture, would it translate well? And it really does. Honestly, like, if anything, like Pepe's been saying, like, where they've adjusted things, they've changed some things, and you don't use your imagination to like fill in the gaps. Some of the horror is better because. So, like, yeah. I mean, from the sounds of it, we can't recommend this enough.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things, if you're a fan of the Uzumaki manga as well, like, in my opinion, I feel like this is just like an extension of it. It's like, it's that kind of like, it's another way of getting that media and like ingesting it. And mate, I'd 100% recommend it for anyone that loves Junji Ito's work and is a fan of Uzumaki. Yeah. Any last things you want to say, Nathan, before I guess we wrap this up?
Yeah. What I want to say is, remember, this is a horror anime called Uzumaki. It's got nothing to do with Naruto. Because, like, when I was watching it with people, we did make a lot of Naruto jokes, and some people genuinely were like, "Uzumaki, is this like ninjas or something? Is it Naruto?" It's like, no, this is.
Oh my days, yeah.
Just because Uzumaki is the Japanese word for spiral.
Yeah.
That's why Naruto Uzumaki has the spiral symbol. That's why, like, I know a lot about Naruto lore now.
Yeah.
But like, it's just the comparisons are there. Okay, I feel like I actually couldn't believe when I was researching who, the animation studios, like the fact that this is Uzumaki. Everybody kept saying Naruto.
Yeah.
And then fucking Fugaku and Akatsuki. Are you kidding me? Fugaku Uchiha is Sasuke's dad, and then the fucking Akatsuki. Are you kidding me? Are you trying? Like, some smart ass over there was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. It's like you said, they know exactly what so, like, it's...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that.
Some motherfucker over there was being some cheeky little shit, and I'm cool you out, you fucking cheeky bastard.
It's a mad coincidence as to what it feels like it should be. I can't
look. One is a coincidence. This is like, nah, someone's doing some shit, man.
They didn't really care about, like, they're like, yeah, okay, we need more animators on this. Let's get another studio in. We're really tight. Wait, that one sounds like a Naruto thing. Let's go for that one. Like, they're like they prioritize the coincidence pun shit over the,
bro. Like, someone out there was like, yo, the real ones are gonna know. The real ones, them guys, they're gonna love it.
Yeah, we're gonna like make sure it all sticks to the theme. You don't care about the quality, as long as the theming of this Naruto thing is there. That's all I care about.
As long as my message to Naruto fans goes out.
Yeah. Oh goodness me! Right. And on that note, thank you for listening to this Cultured Boys episode. What do you think of Uzumaki? Are you, like, as a fan of manga, or like if you watch the anime, let us know your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Cultured Boys videos. Check the links in our description for our podcast platforms, and we'll see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye.
Bye.